Are you looking to move to the South Shore of Boston? Well, I can't blame you because I've lived here my whole life, and what an incredible place to live if you're choosing Massachusetts. You may be early in your research phase, or you may be ready to move. So in this video, I'll be talking about everything you'll need to know about the process of buying a home in Massachusetts on the South Shore of Boston. So I'll go through the technical aspect of what you're going to need to know to buy a house on the South Shore of Massachusetts, and I'll talk about the broader elements of the process that will determine your success in this market. Hope you enjoy. Hey, I'm Katie. I'm a realtor in Massachusetts, and this channel is all about helping you with your move to the South Shore of Boston. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you're thinking about moving to the South Shore or any of the surrounding areas, please reach out. So without further ado, let me jump into the technical nitty-gritty of buying a home here. In the state of Massachusetts, when you decide that you found the perfect home, it's actually your real estate agent that's going to be writing that first legally binding offer. So once that offer is accepted, we will match you with a closing attorney, which I like to match based on your personality. For example, there are amazing lawyers all over Boston, all over the South Shore, and they all do the same thing. They are legally contracted to do what's right by the buyer. And so that part is easy. But what's hard is matching you with that very specific personality. You may be living in another state that has different rules and laws than we do in Massachusetts. So you need to be matched with someone that you can either call every second of the day, or that you just want them to take it and run with it. So once I get to know you and we're making that offer, I can suggest a few different attorneys based on your personality type. So once we get that offer accepted on your dream home, we have to go through what's called an inspection phase. So again, plenty of inspectors all over Boston. I definitely would recommend matching you to the appropriate inspector. So as an example, if you are buying in South Boston or Quincy, I'm probably going to connect you with a Boston inspector because there are some different city rules and some different things that are just unique to a condo or a home in these places. If we're down on the South Shore somewhere and we're near the water, I'm definitely going to connect you with an inspector who does waterfront properties so that we can see some of the unique aspects of homes that are closer to the water. So when we get to that point, again, I'm going to recommend a few different people. You're going to meet them based on personality, but definitely based on location. So once we complete the inspection and make sure that we know everything we're getting into, because part of the inspection phase is to find out everything about the house that it could need to have done over the next 10 years. I do find a lot of first-time home buyers are very, very scared at this phase. So it's important to have a good realtor on your side to explain that just because the inspector is talking about the electric needing to be grounded or the water heater is at its end of life. Some of these things sound really dramatic to a first-time homeowner, but likely the price point that you're buying at is being reflected because the seller already knows these things. So we're just trying to find out what's under the hood, if that's how you're looking at it. Once we have all of that information and we digest it, we go to the next contract phase. And that contract phase is called purchase and sale. And that is a legal document that is written up by your lawyer. It's actually written up by the seller's attorney. The seller's attorney writes up the legally binding contract, and then they send it over to us. And it should reflect everything that we've put in our offer. It will have the closing date, it'll have the purchase price, it'll have all the deposits, it'll have your lender commitment date, and all the things that go into this legally binding contract. Once this contract is signed, which is usually 7 to 10 days after our offer is accepted. Once this is signed, the offer is now null and void. So now we just have to make sure that everything we asked for in the offer has now been transferred over to the purchase and sale. Once that is done, it's usually a little bit of a quiet time after that. Now it's time for the seller to get ready to make their move, and it's our turn as the buyers to make sure that our lender is doing everything they can to get our mortgage commitment done. And so a few things about the mortgage commitment. The mortgage commitment is typically done 7 to 10 days before the closing date. And really what that does is we want to be as close to the closing date because it's really the legally binding moment that you are fully responsible for that house moving forward. It really means that you can't back out without losing all of your your deposits that you've put forth so far. So we really want to be as close to the closing date as possible. The seller wants you to commit as even further away from the closing date. So they would like a 2 or 3 week commitment. So it's up to the realtors and the lawyers to decide what's fair for everybody. We choose a date. Once that commitment date comes, that just means that your mortgage is approved, everything's moving forward, and it's time for us to be packing up our things and getting ready to close on that house. Okay, so as far as the technical steps, that's pretty much it. It's very standard. Most closings are 30 to 45 days is a standard amount of time from accepted offer to closing date. Some people push 60, and then each case is different. So if you needed a couple extra months to make the move happen, we would work with the seller to see what we could come up with as a plan. Again, we need to find a place in the middle. What's best for the buyer is best for the seller, and everybody's happy. This is what makes a smooth transaction. So now let me give you a couple other details about things you should know if you're shopping for a house in the South Shore of Boston. Property taxes are going to be assessed on every single home, but they do vary widely based on the town. So the easiest way to do this is to ask your realtor to check the MLS listing, and every MLS listing has the property taxes from the prior year listed for everybody to see. No secrets here. Another thing to note about the South Shore is that some towns do have historic district regulations. Because the South Shore is so fabulous for so many reasons, because of its history, when you're purchasing your house, we will look through and see if there are any regulations based on that town or even that neighborhood specifically that would limit you in what you could do in the future for that house. Again, this is a great reason to have a realtor on your side. We can do all this investigation for you. You are just looking for like what excites you in the home, and then we can let you know what the limitations are. So before you think about bedazzling your home, be sure to check with your realtor about any limitations that might be in place. On the off chance that you're looking just to purchase your home as an investor, make sure you talk to a realtor, because there are some towns that have started to do some short-term rental limitations. They are town by town specific. And when I say specific, there is a lot of information. So before you're buying as an investment, just make sure you get all those details. Do not get overwhelmed with the technical details. This is why you hire a realtor. The reality is you can search Zillow, you can search Redfin, you can look at photos. What I tell all of my buyers is it's almost like a dating site. Like, it looks perfect on photos, but you need someone like me. It doesn't have to be me, but someone like me who's going to take that listing, go drive by the neighborhood, tell you about the town, tell you about the little bits and pieces. This market is efficient. There is no BS on the South Shore. We are priced for a reason. When you find something really inexpensive in an expensive town, trust me when I tell you there is a reason, and it might not be what's inside the house. Just focus on working with someone who's knowledgeable and is willing to do all those driving arounds. It's not just about looking at the photos in this market. You really need to educate yourself. So now let's talk about what I think really matters that will impact your home buying process. The first is to learn about the region. Just like I said, it's almost like a dating app. What looks good for someone else might not be what's in your heart and what you love. So you really want to explore the different regions. Each town on the South Shore has its own personality. I mean, you really have to do your homework. Do you want to live in the city? Do you want to live in the Metro West? Do you want to live up on the North Shore, or do you want to live on the South Shore? And then when you choose what region you want to live when you move to Massachusetts, again, I go back to each region has its own town personality. And what's really funny, a lot of other agents that I talk to in different regions, like the North Shore agents, we can always compare one town on the South Shore to its twin town on the North Shore. It is like clockwork. You can literally be like, well, what about this town? Oh, well, I've got this town that matches that town. And the North Shore and the South Shore really mirror image each other. And so you just have to find the town that works for you. So if you've chosen the South Shore, which I hope you have, all of this channel that I do is all about the different towns, and I go really deep on each town. But again, those videos are short. Just call me if you have any questions about any specific towns. I'm happy to chat. about all the different towns. And then one fun thing I like to do is give like a little personality to each of the towns. So if any of you are on Instagram, I've recently come across this very funny trend where people ask ChatGPT to personify the town they live in and the different towns. I've just found it very amusing. Some of it is spot on, some of it is not. Again, one generalization of one town is never going to be enough. But let's have a little fun and I will go over each town and tell me what you think. Okay, so let's start with Quincy. You've got that savvy, street smart city kid who left home early, me, made it big, and never stops name dropping his presidential roots. Hingham, a classy New Englander in pearls and boat shoes who drinks Chardonnay by the harbor and always send thank you notes. Weymouth, the no-nonsense loyal friend who shows up in work boots and always has your back, especially if there's pizza involved. Cohasset, the mysterious coastal artist with perfect hair, a trust fund, and a secret garden that no one else is allowed in. A laid-back storyteller with sea spray in her hair, Irish roots in her soul, and sand in her car year-round. That one might be spot on. Marshfield, the beach bum with a big heart, a cold beer in hand, and a countdown to that Marshfield Fair. That is spot on. And if you're looking for it, I think the Marshfield Fair is in August, around August 16th. Dexbury is the straight A equestrian who vacations on Nantucket, bakes like Ina Garten, and won't touch canned chowder. Hanover, a suburban dad who loves clean driveways, weekend projects, and bragging about his soccer team. Pembroke, the nature-loving introvert who keeps to himself, rescues turtles from the road, and lives for quiet mornings with coffee. And Norwell, the polished professional who drives a Tesla to yoga, composts religiously, and never misses a town meeting. All right, so the thing is, you can have a lot of fun with these, and they're not meant to offend anyone. It's literally just to give you kind of a high-level overview of the town. So what I'd like to say is if you could put up with one of these things living in your town, then you probably would love it. So after you've decided what region you want to live in, what town, and why, the next part is to understand the local housing market. As a realtor, we don't have a crystal ball. It changes all the time, which is why you need a realtor, because what your parents or grandparents tell you, or what your neighbor friend from New Hampshire or Maine is going to tell you is not true. You need to get hyper local. Every town is different. Every neighborhood is different. Every market is different. Generally speaking, the housing market on the South Shore is still very hot. Here's the thing. If it's a good house in a good neighborhood with good bones and a good price point, it's off the market in 2 or 3 days, bottom line. So what I like to do when you contact me, I like to educate you. So I'm going to start sending you realistic, real numbers. And don't be surprised. I'm sorry. Everyone always acts shocked when I say, this seems like this is a low price for Hingham. And someone says, based on the square footage, that's not a low price. Guess what? It's gone in 1 day because I know the market. And 1.275 in a fantastic neighborhood, even though it's only 1,800 square feet, it doesn't matter. Somebody else may have been looking in that same neighborhood for 9 months. There might be emotional reasons that they are going to pay $100,000 over. It's not about the square footage in the South Shore market. Just trust me. So after we get through a couple of things like that, a couple days, weekends of that, my clients always trust me. I have bought 2 houses sight unseen for 2 different clients. One I closed in Milton. They were coming from Florida. We spent some time together in February in Milton. I made an offer sight unseen on a house in a fabulous neighborhood. End of March, we were closed by May 15th. They saw the house on the walkthrough prior to the closing. The other agent was losing her mind. But what she doesn't know is I spend a lot of time with my clients virtually before we make that offer. So they know everything. I can video, I can FaceTime. I know the market, I know the neighborhoods. I have a very dear friend who lives on Nantucket full-time. She wanted a small pied-à-terre in Boston and Beacon Hill. She wanted it for the same price everybody else wants their pied-à-terre. It was going to be a hard sell. But because I know what she was looking for, I was able to find something that a family at that price point couldn't buy because it was 2 floors up without an elevator. So that limited the buyer pool to somebody who was just wanting to use it like a hotel. We got it for ask price. We're closing in October because she needed a little bit more time. Anyways, the point is she still hasn't seen it. and we've been under contract for 2 months. So I know what I'm talking about. So when we get to know each other, this is what these videos are about. I will then be able to understand exactly what you want. Again, I go back to that dating app. This is the best thing. I have clients sending me things all the time. Look at this really inexpensive house. Why don't I just buy this one? And then I drive by and there are 14 reasons without even walking in the house why you shouldn't buy this one. So it's really important to learn about that so that you can understand what you're paying for. So if you're thinking about moving to the South Shore, please reach out. So the most important thing you need to do in your home buying journey is work with an experienced, excellent realtor. And it's okay if it's not me. I have plenty of connections, fabulous realtors that I can connect you with if we're not a right fit. So all of the things that I've mentioned in this video are easily avoidable if you're working with someone who you really trust. On the South Shore, there are a lot of red flags and green flags that I haven't even mentioned going through this video because there's too many and too specific, but a local realtor will be able to know everything that I would also be talking about. I will say one of the most exciting parts of becoming a realtor and doing these YouTube videos is it worked. And when I first started doing these videos, I really doubted it. I just didn't understand the process. But now that I've gotten to meet people through the YouTube channel and people are calling me and emailing me, and within minutes, we feel like best friends. They already know me and they already trust me. So I don't have to sell myself. That part's done. Now I just really need to get to the nitty gritty and find out what you're looking for. And we're right into it. I literally just got a call from someone in Austin on Friday, and I'm already seeing things for them. I've already got a Google spreadsheet set up that we're sharing ideas on. They send me listings that they're interested in, whether it's their price point or not, so that I'm getting to learn what their emotions are about the house. Making a list of a must-have and a no-good is one thing, but we really need to start seeing the emotion of it. So they're going to come visit in a week or two. We're going to go through a myriad of different price points and different ideas. And that way, when they go back to Austin and they're back to their real life, they send me a listing or I send them a listing. We reference those listings that we specifically looked at. Oh, remember that 1.675 house in Hingham? Remember the reasons you didn't like it? Same reasons you're not going to like this 1.25 in Duxbury. Or this is what you're going to think about. Oh, remember that one we saw in Hanover that we couldn't afford? This is a perfect fit for what you were looking for. So let's really dig deep on this one. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you found some value in it. I sometimes riff on different things, but I think that's when you give me a call and I want to know specifically what you're looking for, I will be able to go down that road just as easily as I go down the broader picture on all these videos. As I've said before, please don't hesitate to call and we'll go from there.